Let's keep talking about the economy, gas prices, industrial policy, and the like with former Trump economic advisor Stephen Moore, a friend of mine and friend of the show. It's great to have you here, Steve.
Good to see you, Major.
Let's talk industrial policy. There is a conversation I'm going to have later on this program with someone who's a travel expert, Peter Greenberg, about a possible acquisition by the United States federal government of Spirit Airlines. Yeah. Ted Cruz has come out strongly against this. Tom Cotton, not as strongly, but have expressed reservations. Where do you come down?
Look, I don't like that.
$500 million.
I don't like when the federal government tries to pick winners and losers in industry because they have a track record of picking losers, not winners. And whether you're talking about Solyndra or Amtrak or all of these things that lose money, it's not the government's. I don't like corporate welfare. I believe in the free market system. You know, the strong survive and the weak go out of business, and that's how the system works, and that's what's made us rich. So I'm against it, but there is an asterisk here, if I may, Major, and that is that the Biden administration made a horrific decision a few years ago where Spirit was supposed to, wanted to merge with JetBlue. Now, Spirit is the 5th largest carrier and JetBlue is the 6th. So, you know, even if they had merged, they'd only have 9 to 10% of the market. And the Biden administration very stupidly opposed that on antitrust.
Said it was anti-competitive.
Yeah, which, you know, doesn't make any sense.
And right after that, as we'll discuss later on in the program, Spirit stock went down.
Exactly.
Its debt load went up.
Went into a death spiral. So that doesn't make any sense to me why you would. In fact, wouldn't it be a better thing if we had 5 major carriers rather than essentially the big 4 now, which would be United, American, JetBlue. And,
but even with that asterisk,
yeah,
you think this would be a bad idea for the Trump administration?
No, we shouldn't do it. And you know, unfortunately, what will happen is they would probably have to go into bankruptcy. The planes would be sold to other airlines, and that's just the way life works. I don't like to see it, but it's much better than the government sending them a big check.
The last time you were on the program, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about gas prices, and you said, well, I certainly hope this wraps up sooner rather than later. It looks like it's going to drag on, and the president has said now publicly this week he has no timeline for ending this, which means high gas prices, even by the word of the Energy Secretary, Chris Wright, who I know you respect, going to be above $3 at minimum for the remainder of this year. That's what he said.
Well, I'll say, you know, I'll sort of stick with what I said a few weeks ago on your show. When we get the Strait open and when we get the normal flow of oil, there's no shortage of oil in the world. You know, in fact, the world is awash in oil and gas. It's just the infrastructure has been hurt and we don't have the channels open. And
it's going to take some time to repair some of that infrastructure damage as a result of this war.
So it's important for Republicans, just now let's talk politics a little bit. They've got to get that gas price down to, you know, at least $3.50 and hopefully back down to $3 a gallon sometime by the mid-summer or late summer, or they could face really catastrophic losses in those midterm elections. People are angry about the price of gasoline.
And they're going to be angry about the price of jet fuel because that's already having an inflationary effect on their ticket prices. And if you're trying to book a summer vacation, you're facing that right now.
Right. Energy is in everything. Everything that you buy is incorporated in that is energy. So you're right. That it's not just driving up gas prices, it drives up everything. I mentioned the other week I was on your show that fertilizer flows through. And the farmers are growing their crops right now. They're complaining that they don't have enough fertilizer. So we got to get this done. And Trump is committed to it, but you're dealing with crazy people over there. It's hard to get them pinned down to a deal, and that's where we are.
Right. And when you talk to Republicans, especially on Capitol Hill, this is front of mind.
Sure.
Right now.
Absolutely. They know that, and you know, the Democrats have been saying this in the last few weeks. What is the election about? It's about affordability, affordability, affordability. So Republicans are going to have to show that, hey, you know, things are getting better by the end of the summer.
And they hope to do that with the big tax refunds, but some of those are being gobbled up by the higher prices.
But look, the big tax bill, which I helped write with some other people, it has certainly helped. The average family's gotten about a $2,000
Think of where they would be without it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Stephen Moore.
You said it better than I did. But
that was unintentional, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen Moore, always a pleasure. Thanks so much.